What is going on YouTube? Just helping you out here. And in this video I'm going to be showing you how to build the field elements that are contained in bag 3 for the FLL RePLay 2020-2021 game. You will also need this bag of extra pieces that contains mostly the beam-like pieces. And in bag 3 you will be building the bench and the basketball post. So to start off, you will be needing a 7-hold beam, a black friction pin, and one of the tan long pins. You are going to take the black pin and stick it in one end, and then you are going to take the short side of the tan pin and stick it in the other end. Like that. And then you will need one of the 15-hold beams that comes out of the extra bag, and one end will go on the tan pin. And it should look like that. Next up, you will need one of the black friction pins and one of the longer tan pins. The black pin will go right here. And the tan one, you're going to insert the long end through the hole at the very end. Like that. And now you're going to grab another one of the 15-hold beams, and you are going to attach the end hole to the black pin. Just like that. And now you will need 2 more black friction pins, and you're going to put one at the end here and one in the hole next to the tan pin. So it should look like that. And now you're going to take one of the 7-hold beams and you're going to attach it where you just put those black pins. Just like that. And now you will need 2 of these blue pins. One of them is going to attach right here, and one of them is going to attach right here, but you want to stick the long end in, so that way it goes through both of these beams. So it should look like that, and you should only have a little bit of pin sticking out. And now for this next step, you are going to need this rectangular beam piece. You will need a blue 7 piece and a green 5 piece, along with 4 black friction pins. The first thing you're going to do is take those black friction pins and stick them in the long sides of this square beam-like piece. And you're going to stick them on the outside holes. And then same thing on the other side. So that should look something like this. And then you're going to stick the green beam on one side and the blue one on the other side. Just make sure with the blue one that there is one hole open on either side. So it should look like this. Then you're going to take this whole piece and attach it to these blue pins right here, so that this green piece is facing away from the rest of the part. And now what you can do is you can set this piece aside. And for this next part, you need 1 black beam-like rectangle and 4 black friction pins. And you're going to take those pins and you're going to put them on the outer holes of the short edge on both sides, like this. And so that should look something like that when you're done. And now you're going to take 2 more of those black beam-like rectangles and put them on either side where you just put those pins. So you're going to attach one like this, and you're going to attach one like this. And so you'll have this at the end. And now you will need 2 of these 3 green beams, and you will need 4 black friction pieces. And what you're going to do with these is you're going to put 2 black pins in each of the green beams on the outer holes. You're going to do that twice. And then you're going to take these green beam assemblies and you're going to stick them on the inside of these pieces right here and right here. So one will go in here and the other will go in here. And it should look like that when you are done. And now you're going to take 4 of the gray pins. You're going to take the 2 rectangles that are on the outside and you're going to put it in the center hole. So one here, one here, and then same thing on the other side, one here and one here. And it should look like this once you have completed that step. Now you're going to grab these 4 5-hold beams and you're going to put them on the gray pins that you just put in. So the outermost hole will go on this pin, And same thing for the rest of them. Outermost hole on these pins. So it should look something like that. And now here is where we're going to pick up the piece that we put aside and attach that. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift two of these flaps up, and you're going to attach this piece just like this. So these two tan pins are going to go in the other end of each of these beams. So I'll do those one by one. Get that one in there, and get that one in there. So now these should be free to rotate around each other like this. And that's what this should look like. And now we can set this piece aside. Alright, so now you need a 7-beam, a tan pin, and one friction black pin. And you are going to put the friction black pin in one end of the beam. And then you are going to stick the short side of the tan pin in the other end. So you have something like this. And now you need a 15 beam, and you're going to take this end hole and stick it on the tan pin. So it should look like that. And then you will need a black friction pin and another tan pin, and you are going to take the black pin and put it in the hole next to this beam, so right there. And now you're going to take the tan pin and stick it in the end hole, but what you are going to do is you're going to stick it in long ways so there is some pin sticking out on either side of the beam. And now you're going to take another 15 beam and you're going to stick the end hole on that black pin you just put in, like that. Then you're going to take two black friction pins and stick one in the end of this beam and one next to this beam. So it should look like that. And now you're going to take a 7-beam and put it on those black pins that you just stuck in. And it should look something like this. And now you're going to take two blue pins and you're going to stick them in these two holes right here, but you're going to put them in long ways so they go through both pieces of beam. And now you see there's a gap between them and there is only a little bit of pin sticking out. And now you're going to grab that piece that I told you to set aside earlier, and you are going to attach this in the same spot that you attached the last one. These tan pins are going to go in the end of these black beams. So I'll do those one at a time. Stick that one in. You can stick this one in. And then now these two blue pins will stick right into this gray rectangle beam. And that is what the final product should look like. So now you're going to set this whole piece aside. So now you will need one 5-axle, and you will need these two white pieces, and what you're going to do is you're just going to put these white pieces on the end of that axle. Like that. And now you need two 7-axles, and you're going to stick those in the end of the white pieces. So you have something that looks like that. And you're going to take these two black 90-degree elbows, and you're going to stick them on the ends of this axle. Just make sure they are facing the same way. So once I have these on, you can see that they are both facing this way. And now you will need two 4-axles, and you're going to stick those inside those black pieces that you just put on, like this. And now you're going to take these two pieces and you're going to stick them on those red axles that you just put on, and you're going to slide them up to the black pieces, like that. And now you're going to take these two green pieces and you're going to attach them to the red axles, but you're going to make sure that they are pointed upwards. Like that. So you need to make sure they are like this. And now you're going to grab the piece that I told you to set aside, and this piece that you just built is going to sit inside these two holes. So Put it in just like that, with these green pieces also facing this direction. And so that's what this should look like. And this is the completed model for the bench. So now I can set this aside. Now we can get started on the basketball post. These are the pieces that you will need for the first step. 2 small blue pins, 1 long tan pin, this gray pin with a hole in the middle, and a 15 beam. First, you're going to stick the gray piece in the end, and then you're going to take the tan pin and you're going to leave a 2-hole gap and stick it in short side in, like that. And then you're going to leave another 2-hole gap and insert one of the blue pins long side in. So all you're left with is a little bit of blue, and you're going to put the other one exactly right next to it. So it should look something like that. And now you're going to take one of these white elbows and a small red axle, and you're going to connect those two. Alright, so now you're going to take this piece and you're going to stick it on this tan pin. Now the one thing you need to make sure is that it is in the same orientation that I just put it on. So if you're holding the piece like this, the red axle should be along the beam and toward these small blue pins, and then the other end of the elbow should be pointing this way. Make sure that this is not upside down. And now you will need 2 long blue pins and an H, and first off you're going to stick the H right next to these small blue pins, and then you're going to put the blue pins in short side in, one right next to the H and the other one at the very end of the beam. So just like that. And now you're going to take a gray 7 beam and you're going to stick the end hole on this pin. So just like this, so that there's a 3-hole overhang. And now you're going to grab a 15-hole black beam, 2 long blue pins, and 1 long tan pin. Now all these pins are going to go short side in, and the first thing you're going to do is stick a blue pin on the very end, and then you're going to leave a 1-hole gap, and you're going to stick another blue pin in, and then you're going to leave a 2-hole gap and stick the tan pin in. So it should look like that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to stick those 2 blue pins into that 3-hole overhang that you have here. So from the bottom, you're going to stick that in so that your black beams all line up. And this is now what that should look like. And now you're going to take a black 15 beam and you're going to put it in the exact same spot as this one, except on the other side. So we'll stick that just like this. And so it should look like that. So now you're going to take another one of these white elbows and one of the small red axles, and you're going to stick an axle in one of the ends. And now what you're going to do is you're going to stick that on this tan pin, and you're going to put it in the same orientation that you put the other one. So you have to make sure they are both facing the same direction. So now if you look from a top view, you can see that on both of these, part of the elbow without an axle is along the beam, and then the piece with an axle are both pointed in the same direction. So that's how you can tell that they are in the same orientation, and this is what that should look like. And now you are going to need 2 long blue pins and an H, and you're going to stick the blue pins in short side in, one at the very end of the beam, and then you're going to leave a 2-hole gap and stick another one in, and then finally the H will go right next to that last pin. Just like that. Now you will need 2 long blue pins and a blue L, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to stick both pins long side in into the short side of the L. So you're going to put one right here all the way through, and you're going to put one right at the corner all the way through. So it should look like this, and you're going to take the long side of the L and put it on these 2 blue pins. So just like that. Again, make sure it's in the right orientation and make sure it looks just like this. And now you are going to take a black 15 beam and you're going to put it on this side, but have it line up with this black beam. So just like this. And that's what this should look like. Now you will need 4 black friction pins, and you are going to put them in the following holes. You're going to put one in this part of the H. You're going to put one in each of the holes on the other H. And you're going to put one in this piece at the very end. So now it should look like this. And now you will need one 15 beam and one 9 beam, and you're going to put the 9 beam on this side. So you're going to stick it over these two pins, just like that, and then you're going to take the 15 beam and you're going to put this last hole on this pin. So when you do that, you should have a constant line of beam right here. There should be no gaps. And now you will be needing two of these black beam rectangles, and you're going to insert them in these blue pins. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the long side of that rectangle and put these two holes in those pins. Like this, and like this. So from a bottom view, it should look like this. And now you're going to take one black friction pin and stick it in this leftover hole in the H on the same side as where you just put those beams. Like that. And now you will take a blue 7 beam and you're going to put the second hole on this pin. So just like that. And everything should line up here, as you see. And now you're going to take 3 blue long pins and you're going to stick the short side in the following holes. One at either end. So one right there, one right there, and you're going to put one right in the middle. So just like that. And now you're going to take 2 gray 11 beams and you're going to stick them on the pins that you just put in. Just make sure they line up with this rectangle. So if you put these in, you'll see it lines up with these black rectangles along the edge. And now you would need 4 more long blue pins, and you're going to stick them on the other side of those rectangles. So you're going to put one at either end, short side in, and then you're going to put one each on the holes closest to the center. So one here and one here, and you should have a 1 hole gap in between the pins. And now you're going to take 2 gray 11 beams again, and you're going to put them over those pins, just like you did the last ones. Everything again should line up, and it should look something like that when you are done. Now we can set this piece aside. Now you will take one black 90-degree elbow and one small yellow axle, and you're going to stick that axle right into the elbow, just like that. And now you will need one of these green 3 beams with a little axle piece on top, and you're going to take this piece and you're going to insert the yellow axle through that green piece. Make sure the orientation is just as you see it. Now you will take another black 90-degree elbow and you're going to put it on the axle that's left over here. Now make sure when you put those on, the 2 90-degree elbows are facing the same direction as you see it. And now you will take 2 small red axles and you're going to put them in the black 90-degree elbows that you just attached. So one there and one there. And now you will need 2 more black 90-degree elbows, a small yellow axle, and another one of those green pieces. And what you're going to do is you're going to take one of those 90-degree elbows and you're going to stick the yellow axle in it. So just like this. And then you are going to put the green piece on the axle like this. Again, make sure the orientation is exactly how you see it. And then you're going to take this other 90-degree black elbow and you're going to stick it on the other end and make sure that the 2 elbows are both facing the same direction. Then you're going to take that piece that you just made and attach it to the red axles of the one you previously made. These 2 green pieces are supposed to not be in the same orientation. So this is what that should look like when you have completed this step. So now you're going to take a black friction pin, a small blue pin that's part axle and part pin, and this green L. And what you're going to do is you are going to put the black pin in the corner of the L, and then you're going to stick the axle part of the blue pin in the axle part of this L. So it should look like that. And then you're going to take this piece and you're going to put it in these 2 holes, just like this. and it should look just like that. And now you're going to grab another black friction pin, another blue pin, and another one of those green L's. And what you're going to do is you're going to put the blue pin again in that axle part of the L. And then you're going to put the black pin in the corner of the L. And then you're going to take that and you're going to put it in these other two holes, just like this. And it should look like that. And now you're going to take two black friction pins and put them on the outside holes of this piece sticking out here. So one there and one there. And now you're going to take one of these gray beam pieces that looks like an eye, and you're going to stick it on its side right on those black pins. So it should look like that. And now you're going to take four black friction pins and you're going to put them on the front of that gray piece you just put on. And you're going to put them on the top holes. So one here, one here, one here, and one here. And you want to leave the bottommost holes open. And now we're going to set this piece aside. And now you will need 6 black friction pieces, 2 blue L's, and 1 blue 7-beam. And the first thing you're going to do is stick a black pin in each end of the 7-beam. And then you're going to leave a 1-hole gap, put in another one, and leave another 1-hole gap and put in another one. So you should have 4 total pins in there, and they should all be 1 hole apart. And then you're going to take your 2 blue L's and put them on like this, so that the long part of the L for both of them is toward the center of the piece. And then you're going to take your last 2 black pins and stick them in the top holes. So it should look like that. And now you're going to grab this piece I told you to set aside. So now you're going to take the blue piece that you just made and put it up through the one I told you to set aside. And you're going to push these pins into the green piece. Like that. And that is what that piece should look like. And now you're going to set this whole piece aside. Now you will be needing 4 long blue pins and 1 gray rectangle beam. And what you're going to do is you're going to stick each of these blue pins in one of these corner holes, and you're going to stick it long ways in so the pin sticks out on both sides. So there I have all 4 corners covered. And now you're going to take another gray rectangle beam and stick it on top of those 4 pins. Just like that. Now you will be needing 3 white studs, 6 of those small blue pins that have a long and short end, 3 of those chains, and 1 gray beam rectangle. So along this long edge on the inside, you're going to put in these blue pins. So now you can see the little blue pin sticking out on the inside there. And you're going to do the same thing on those other 3 holes right here. So there you have it. You have 6 pins on the inside and a little bit of pin is still sticking out. And now you're going to take these little chains and you're going to cap one end of them with one of the white studs, and you're going to do that on all 3 chains. So you should have 3 of those like that. And then you're going to take that piece that you just put those pins on, and you're going to stick the side that has the stud on one side, and you're going to loop the chain around and stick the other end to the other side of the pin, like that. And you're going to again do that for all 3. Just make sure that the side that you stick on with the stud is on all of the same side. And so what I mean by that is, you see on this long edge all of these have a stud, and on this long edge all of them do not have a stud. And that's what that should look like. And finally you're going to stick this on the bottom of that other piece you made. So just like that. And now you should have a little basket that looks like this. And now you're going to pick up that piece I told you to set aside, and you're going to attach it to these front holes on the basket. just like that, and just make sure the side that has these studs on them is not on the same side as all this colored stuff. And now you're going to grab this piece that I told you to set aside earlier, and what you need to do is you need to make sure that this white and red piece is flipped up, and then you need to slide the basket onto it. So what you're going to do is I would hold this up with a finger, and then you're going to slide the shaft of this through this channel right here. So just like this. So it's up through here, just like that. And then it should slide down. And now it should be free to slide up and down as long as it doesn't hit one of these stops. And so what you can do is you can lift the stop, put it on, and it should slide all the way down, just like that. So now here you have the final builds for the bench and the basketball post. And those are the models contained in bag 3. Alright, so if you found this video helpful, please drop a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or an idea for a future video, and lastly, please don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends about my channel so I can grow and help more of you guys out. I'm just helping you out. See you in the next video.